Yes, sir. We are back. Great Man of God Media TV with another reaction video. Okay. I was asking for follow-ups for a long time. But looks like Arlette just dropped a follow-up between Jason and Candi. I saw the thumbnail, and that was the lawyer guy. Yeah, that was the lawyer guy. I forgot what she did, but I recognized it from the previous episodes. But without further ado, man, I ain't got shit going on. I might as well react to this, but let's keep it going. Here we go.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's your host Arlette and we are here today with Jason and Candi.
All right, well, they're not in the same studio. This is a virtual catch-up. Okay. I expected them, because they matched, I expected them to be in the same studio, but we'll see. We'll see.
Welcome guys. How are we feeling?
Doing all right. Thank you, Arlette.
All right. Good to have you guys back. We had you on episode 30 of Pop the Balloon or Find Love, where you guys ended up matching.
Okay. Awesome.
So Candi?
Yes.
Is it a yes for you for him?
It is. Yes.
We got a match. All right. I will take this mic and you guys can go on up. All right. So, the comments were, going crazy, talking about you guys. They were like, man, this was the longest segment of Pop the Balloon or Find Love.
She was grilling me up there, wasn't she?
Candi came with the questions that were going to be, no short answers. She said, I want to hear everything. So Candi, how did you prepare for this? How did you come up with these questions? Walk us through it.
So honestly, I was just intentional about my time on the show. I know what it is I'm looking for, what I'm seeking in a man. And so I wanted to definitely use that time wisely, especially with that being my second time on the show. So yeah, I had my questions prepared. And yeah, I knew what I was looking for.
Okay. And then, it didn't help that Jason also doesn't have short responses for anything.
Arlette, don't be jumping in with the rest of the comments, okay? I read them. I know. You can get yes or no today.
Oh my goodness. No, I'm just kidding. I'm glad that you came with the good questions though, because we always tell everyone, come prepared, have your questions ready, because you do want to hear from these people that could be your possible match, whatever it is. So it's always good to, one, speak well and have your long-winded responses, and also have like really good questions prepared. Was there anything that was shocking to you guys, like from the experience, or from what you've seen, what you've heard, whatever, since the show has aired?
Okay, what do we got here?
Skeleton crew is 95% fresh.
I can't believe it.
That's out the way.
Jason, we can hear from you first.
I wouldn't say shocking. I was nervous. I had a lot of anxiety leading up to the air date, because I didn't know how it was going to be received and what the perception of people watching this would be. I've never had, that many eyeballs on me at one time, even though I've spoken, at conferences and so forth in front of hundreds of people, been in front of federal judges, federal courts of appeal. And out of all of that, this was maybe one of the most nerve-wracking. And now I'm consciously thinking, am I talking too much? So now they're in my head.
But it's part of your job. Like, you do have to do a lot of talking, and you're very well spoken. So it's not a bad thing. Honestly, it's not a bad thing. Don't overthink it.
I very much appreciate that. I have a need to feel understood, and so I think that's why I do it. And plus, we live in the TikTok age where everybody's used to things in 2-minute sound bites, and if you go beyond 2 minutes, then you're talking too much. So I understand it's a generational thing as well.
Right, we're in the TikTok era. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Candi, you were getting kind of a lot of back.
It's supposed to be with TikTok. TikTok ruins people's attention spans. You got to have an attention span of an infant right now. So
Flash for one of the comments you made about one of the gentleman's professions. Did you want to get into that?
Um,
I guess elaborate a little.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Okay. If I remember correctly, she mentioned something about. I know. Okay, I know what it was. He had a job. It was a good job. I think it was a truck driver or something like that. And she said that's not a good career or something to that effect. I'm just going off memory. I don't want to go rewind back, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
A little bit more as to what you meant when you made your statement.
Sure. Yeah. Obviously, who I have depicted myself to be on the show is exactly who I am. I'm very genuine. I am not a judgmental person. Like everybody, we have preferences. And for those who saw the first time that I was on the show, I was very specific and intentional about what it is I desire for my man career wise. And so at any point, not at any point, actually, I wasn't judging Don for his profession. I've spoken to him. We're cool. We're good. I guess what I wanted to share, maybe clear up for the people, is that it wasn't his profession per se, but I am an ambitious woman myself. So I seek someone who is ambitious as well as far as their career. So there's not a problem with being a mailman, but just wondering, is there anything else you want to do to step up from that? Do you want to manage the postal office, or do you want to be some type of supervisor or a director, that kind of thing? So I was just seeking to understand and connect with ambition in regards to that. But obviously, being a postal service or mailman, there's nothing wrong with that. Blue collar positions, there's nothing wrong with that as well. So it's all just a preference.
Okay. All right, good. Well, let's go ahead and dive right into the juicy topic at hand that everyone is here just dying and waiting to know. Since you guys ended up matching, have you gone on a date?
Candi, you want to take it?
We've hung out a few times.
Oh, okay. All right, walk me through the first date. When was it? Where'd you go? What'd you do?
I was trying to make the first date right after the episode ended, and I knew Candi had a flight back to Charlotte, and I was doing everything in my power to get that flight moved. So let me tell you,
Candi, why would you book your flight right after the show?
Thank you.
I had something to do. It was already planned. It wasn't on me.
Okay. So obviously it didn't happen right after the show. So when was the first date?
So I actually have some cases in North Carolina, and those are actually my next cases that are coming up for trial. And so I actually had already on my schedule to go to Asheville and Hendersonville for some depositions that I was taking the next week. So I told Candi about this, and I said, you know what, I'm going through North Carolina. Why don't we meet up in Charlotte and take you out and do a date? So we did it the week following the show. Okay. And in that interim, we were talking every day. Communication was great. In constant communication throughout the day. So ended up going in Charlotte. We went to a museum and then out to dinner.
Okay, nice. How was that first date for you, Candi?
I feel it went well. One of the questions that Jason asked me on the show is if I was high maintenance, and hopefully the first date showed that I wasn't. Like he mentioned, we went to a museum, got some food, got a drink, super simple, but we talked for a very long time and got to know each other a little bit better. So I would say it went well.
Okay. So now after that, how was everything? How long were you in North Carolina? Did you guys hang out again while you were out there? Did you have to fly back? Like, what was the next steps after that?
I was there for a couple of days. We only hung out that day. And then I was actually supposed to be back 2 weeks following that. So I think we had, tentative plans to see each other again when I was coming back.
Okay.
And then again, we were talking every single day throughout the day until the next time that we could see each other. I ended up, I think one of the cases settled, and so I didn't have to go to North Carolina. And because we had sort of established a nice rapport at this time, I said, well, why don't I fly you out here, put you up in a hotel, and we'll hang out for a weekend and have a good time. And
okay,
that's exactly what we did.
Okay. And where are you again right now? You're in Virginia?
Virginia, yeah.
Virginia. Okay. So, Candi, he flew you out to Virginia?
He did.
Okay. How was that? Tell me about it.
It was interesting.
Interesting. Good.
She's a very attractive woman. Just want to put that out there.
Good. Interesting. Bad. What does that mean?
I feel like we got to know a little bit more about one another. But ultimately, I do feel like we had a good time.
Okay.
All right. So how long were you out there?
For the weekend.
The weekend. Okay. So a quick little weekend trip. Okay. All right. Jason, what'd you guys plan? How'd it go out there?
I thought we had an excellent time, and I was hoping to. I was trying to bring my A game for that weekend. So I'm not gonna. So I planned. We went to dinners, lunches, museums. Went out to some lounges,
Nice.
and then to a show.
Okay. So you're a planner, like you planned everything pretty much.
I'm generally not a planner. I try to play by. I try to do things a little spontaneously, but I knew because I was bringing her out and stuff, and I knew she appreciated planning, at least for this. I wanted her to turn off her brain and just have a good time. And I thought we had a very good time. Candi is just a pleasure to be with, and a pleasure to be around. She was great company, and I thought we did get to know each other pretty well during that trip.
Good. Okay. So now after that trip, where are you guys now? Today, are we still getting to know each other? Are we still taking trips to see one another? How's that going?
Well, no.
Why? The trip sounded like it went well.
I thought it did, but I got in my head a little bit, I think. And the next day, I probably should have gave it a day or two to think and reflect on it more, because I don't know if I was being totally fair to Candi and in her favor. And given that I'm blocked now, I couldn't exactly communicate that to her. But I thought my expectation was, we were talking every day. There's a palpable tension that sort of builds when you're building a rapport with somebody. And I thought that was going to manifest itself in something where I could really feel some desire and affection for the things that I was doing. And I thought that I would be able to see that. I thought there would be a lot more connectedness. And what I felt during the trip was that I thought she was trying to create some distance between us. And I'm not accustomed to that, especially when I thought I was acting pretty intentionally, and I thought I was investing in this. And so I thought that she might not be into me, the man. I thought she might be into the value. And I was concerned about that.
Okay. It makes sense because, she basically talked down on a mail carrier. She tried to explain herself, but she doubled down on what she said about people who are mail carriers is not what she's looking for, and that type of thing is she doesn't deem successful. So a mail carrier in her eyes is a failure. A mail carrier in her eyes is someone that she cannot be with because they don't meet her certain criteria when it comes to finances, and just being associated with someone like that is not of her liking. So her matching with an attorney, a very successful attorney, she likes that idea way better than a mail carrier. And so this guy is extremely intelligent. He knows how to read the room. And just by how he explained it, she likes the idea of her being with the lawyer, but not necessarily romantically being involved and intentionally being with that man, you know. But let's keep it going. It's very interesting.
Back of my head was the record playing of you know, the mailman and the security guy, you know, what they did, and is this about my profession or is this about me? And I'm kind of guarded against that. And so I got on the phone with her and said, you know, I wanted to bring parity back to the situation, and I said, you know, why don't we start from a place of friendship, and try to build off that, because I want you to be with somebody that you don't just like the value, you like the person himself. I want you to be head over heels for whoever you're talking to. And I know Candi's got some DMs now, because I said she is this unbelievable combination of pretty, sexy, and cute all at the same time. I don't know how she pulls that off, but she really does. So she knows it. So, but I thought it might be better. You know, maybe I'm moving ahead too full steam, and maybe I should take a step back, manage my expectations, and start from a place of friendship, and then go forward from there.
Okay, so the trip was great, but you felt like she wasn't all into you as a person.
That essentially, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I'm very big on needing to feel desired. I didn't really feel that. I mean, I get around Candi and I'm like, man, I want to be as close to you as possible at all times as possible. She has that energy that sort of brings you in, and I got lulled into that. Now you see the face, you know. I got lulled into that, and so and I was hoping that would be reciprocated to some degree. I've certainly in my past I've had things move pretty quickly. If anybody's done online dating knows, you're talking for like a week, and then by the time you meet, it's like, wow, you feel sparks.
Like, and you feel like you already know each other.
Exactly. Okay. And I wanted to feel sparks, and I know I felt the sparks, but I didn't know that she was feeling the sparks. So I said, okay, let me cool down here a bit. Why don't we start from a place of friendship and go from there?
Okay, Candi, let's hear from you.
Okay, well, starting back to a place of friendship, unfortunately for you, Jason, is going to stay there. Because if there was no spark from the beginning, you can't force a spark from friendship. It's not going to develop like that. There was no chemistry developing into where she was that into you and saw past the value, but saw you as a person and wanted to be with you no matter what. You know, just a woman is intentional because she just wants to be in a man's presence, right? I have a significant other that says she just wants to be in my presence. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. So if she doesn't have that intention to be in your presence, no matter what you're doing, then it's not a match, unfortunately. So let's keep it going.
Well, first, I think the planning was amazing. The things that he planned for us to do were definitely spot on with the things that I enjoy and my interests. So I definitely appreciate that. But like you said, I do feel, things were probably moving at our paces were different. For me, I've been in a long-term relationship. I've been hurt before. I am very conscious and aware of things that are important. And for me, if I want to be serious with somebody, I don't move at a pace that's fast. I do believe friendship should come first. Friendship is the foundation. So for me, it was, let's build a friendship. Let's get to know one another. And then let's see where we can go from there. So I do feel like we probably were different as far as Jason kind of jumping in. I don't feel like I jumped in with him when it comes to that, but that didn't mean that I maybe wouldn't have gotten there eventually. So I do feel like, you know, us establishing let's be friends first was the right direction to go in.
And, you know, I don't want to speak in absolutes. Let me digress what I said before about starting back in friendship and it'll stay there. Possibly. I mean, it's a possibility that when they start back in friendship, it could develop into an intentional relationship that develops into a marriage, you know, which is, I'm assuming that's what they're looking for. So, yeah, I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak in absolutes. I want to, you know, have room for error, right? But there could be a possibility if they start back, especially these two guys. These are very well spoken, very mature, very established adults, right? Compared to a lot of contestants I've seen on the show. So yeah, it's a great possibility they could start back in friendship. It could develop into something very intentional in terms of a relationship. So.
Okay. But is he, like he stated, he feel like you were more so interested in what he can bring than him himself? Is there truth to that?
Not at all. Not at all. First, I didn't ask to come and be flown out. That was something that was offered to me. I did offer to drive, but ultimately, that was something that was offered to me. So it was never, and it's never been in any of my situations about what somebody can give to me. Again, the question was asked, am I high maintenance, materialistic, however you want to phrase it? And I said no, and I meant that. So in getting to know somebody, there are certain expectations that I don't have. But I do appreciate the things that Jason did as far as dinner and us going out and things like that. It's most appreciated. But it's not something that I necessarily expected. So I'm here to get to know somebody for who they are, not for what I feel like I can get out of the situation as far as materialistic, financially, money, that type of thing. That's not who I am. So.
Okay. So I know you said, you know, when you're getting to know someone, building a friendship is like the main thing first. So before you went out there on this trip, was that something that was discussed between the two of you? Like, hey, this is just simply us being friends. We're not going to try to even do this with a romantic route. Like, was that a discussion or was that something you thought he just knew?
That's a great question. As much as we spoke, I don't know that we established that verbatim.
Okay.
For me, it was understood. That's how I felt. And that's not to say that we couldn't have risen to other levels, but initially, that's how I would be with anybody. So maybe, you know, we maybe should have had a conversation more so about that at the beginning, and maybe Jason wouldn't feel the way that he felt, but yeah, we are where we are.
Okay.
How to use AutoQuote Explorer. First, start a quote.
Interesting.
So when you guys were having like these conversations, talking to each other, you know, prior to you coming out there, even when you guys went on your first date, all that stuff, was it like on a friendly vibe or were you guys flirting? Like, how was it? To where now you guys are both like, oh, we're on two different paths. We didn't know, like we weren't seeing eye to eye on where this was going.
Oh, I'm flirting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you're flirting, but she giving it back, or it was always just you?
Candy's so sweet that maybe sometimes it's hard to distinguish between what she's giving off as friendship vibes or what is coming off as flirty vibes. But
Okay.
and I think our own brains want to interpret it the way we want to perceive it, you know, and the way we hope that it's being perceived. So, you know, I think actually I'm being a little facetious. I think it was a healthy combination of both. It's exactly the type of communication I think you want when you're really getting to know somebody. It's this combination of we're getting to know each other, we're learning about each other, there's flirtation there. And so that was my perception of our communication.
Okay. So what led to you being blocked? You mentioned
I
you're
did not
blocked
block
now.
you.
Girl, I can show you. I can show you my text message right now because I texted you the next day. Are you mad at me? Because I saw that you unfollowed me. I saw that I was blocked on WhatsApp, text messages, and I was removed from the group chat. Now,
Wow.
I actually respected that level of pettiness because I was like, that is funny. That is funny. I saw Candi has removed you from the group chat. I was like,
Why
all right,
are you blocking
respect that level
niggas?
of pettiness.
What's
Candi,
going
what
on?
happened? How did we get to this?
Yeah.
So from the conversation that we had, we were discussing a group trip. And from what Jason shared with me, I felt as if he would not be interested in being in the group trip. So there's no need to be a part of the group chat, which is what we talk about. So that is why he was removed. But I don't have an issue with you. You're not blocked. You can text me right now. You're not blocked.
All right.
So you said you texted her, "Are you mad at me?"
Maybe I'm telling tales out of school. I won't go too far into how I ascertained whether or not I was blocked or not. It did appear from
Did she respond to you? That's what I want to know. Did she respond to
my
you?
perception by that.
And are you on? If y'all got iPhones, you can tell if somebody you blocked is that when you send a message, the color of the message is blue, right? That means you're blocked. Let me just confirm. I mean, my bad. It's green. Is it green? Well, you would know. Like if somebody block you on the iPhone, the color is gonna be like a green or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That means you're blocked. So if we can get into detail with that, that would make sense.
I was blocked across multiple platforms, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe something happened. You know how these phones be sometimes, or how the
I don't know. My phone always works.
Yo, that was the clap back of the damn catch up. She said, I don't know, my phone always works. That was funny. I ain't gonna hold you.
Y'all gotta tell me because my phone always works.
Yeah.
So did you not get a reply when you sent a text? Is that what happened?
I got the little exclamation mark, like it won't go through. And then you guys reached out about doing this, and I wanted to kind of clear the air with her. So I tried to send a message on Instagram, and that didn't go through. So I was like, okay. But maybe multiple platforms went down at the same time immediately following that conversation.
But did she message you though? Did she message you?
Let me find out you just unblocked him because of this. Is that what happened?
Oh, God.
Is that what happened, Candi?
Trouble when this call
Because we're trying to know. He said he was blocked. He sent you a few messages that didn't go through. Did you just recently unblock
She's
him?
gonna deny it.
No, you're not blocked. I don't know if it's your service. I don't know, but you're not blocked. I don't have a
So what was
reason.
the last conversation you guys had then?
The conversation I described the day after she left, where I had indicated that maybe we should start from a place of friendship. And we left it at that. And I feel like during that conversation, I did not give her a fair hearing. And I thought that was why perhaps there was the reaction there was the day before, because she actually caught me off guard during that conversation. Candi cut me off if you don't want me to talk about any of this, but she had indicated, so are you making the decision for us? And that gave me pause because I had to think about it, and I was just really, I can be quite decisive, and I don't want to make the decision for two people, but I don't know any other way other than to express how I feel, and then if how I feel is going to lead to an incongruity between how we think we should go forward, then I suppose it's me making the decision. But I was kind of at a loss, and actually reflected on that in the days following that, and I was like, maybe I'm not. Maybe we're just different. Maybe I didn't take the time to get to know her enough in this particular way to truly understand where she was coming from. And I said during the show, I look inward first, and I really do. And so I started thinking, damn, what did I jump the gun here a little bit? So I do apologize to Candi to the extent that I did for that, and to the extent that she did block me. Not saying you did. I would say that would be a reasonable reaction, especially if you know your perception of how things went was different from mine from that conversation. So I appreciate the fact that I'm unblocked or never was. Depending on.
That's the question. Did she text you back recently? When was the last time she texted you back?
Look at it. And yes, internet, I know I'm talking too much.
You're good. Okay. So, I mean, okay, you guys decided, or Jason, you said, you know, we're going to be friends, and that was it? Never again spoke again after that?
Correct.
But why? If you're going to be friends, shouldn't the conversation continue?
Well, that's what I thought. But I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, let's hear from Candi. Candi, let's hear from you.
So initially I felt that we had a good time throughout the weekend, and I could understand that we were moving at different paces.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel, and it's something that I brought up to Jason, I'm very transparent. I felt as if the fact that he brought me out, had a good time, the fact that I did not engage in certain activities, that he decided, okay, let's just be friends. So,
can you be more descriptive about the certain activities? What was it? What were these certain activities that you felt that he was like, oh, we need to be friends because you wouldn't do X, Y, Z?
That was something for me. I am not that type of girl. And he shared with me that he felt as if one of his concerns was that I was too wholesome. To each his own. That's how you feel. But I am a woman of...
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jason, she's just not into you, brother. She's not into you. I think you read the room correctly. She sees the value of you, but not you as a person. So again, a woman as intentional would be in the presence of a man no matter what he's doing. The fact that she was wholesome around you, that says a lot. She was reserved, doesn't want to be herself around someone that she's intentional about, right? She says she's been in a long-term relationship. So when she was with that man, in a long-term relationship, you best believe she was doing things that were not wholesome. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things that were not wholesome at all. All right. So the fact that she's wholesome around you, brother, that just means that she's not into for whatever reason. I still can't gauge whose fault it is. I don't even know who to blame, honestly. It's really hard for me to find out at this point. We're about over 25 minutes into this catch up. I don't know who to blame. At this point, it's really hard. It's just, you know, she's not into you. I think Jason was trying to be intentional, especially the fact that you flew her out and you paid her for a hotel for a few days and took her out across town. And all she said was, I appreciate it. All she said, I appreciate it. That was it. That's all you get from her. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you spent thousands of dollars on this woman And the only thing you got from that was, I appreciate it. Like, nothing after that. So maybe I'm leaning towards you, Jason. I think were definitely intentional, and she was indecisive and holding back and pretty much wasting your time. You know, complete waste of time. I see why she's struggling and being single. I like the backdrop about with God, all things are possible. Well, I think you definitely need to reevaluate who you're trying to seek as a partner. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, it seems like you're wasting Jason's time. All right, but let's keep it going.
Standard. And I make decisions that are best for me. And so in the conversation that we had, I expressed that. And ultimately, that's why I initially felt that's why he said what he said and made the decision that he made for us. The conversation wasn't necessarily about how I feel. It was, I've thought about this and this is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of how it went. And feeling the way that I felt, I didn't know if this was a friendship that I could engage in or continue. From my perspective of things. So, yeah, we haven't really had a conversation since then, but I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue. I just feel like we were on different pages, and that's why in the episode, I believe I was speaking to Demetrius, but communication is so important because you never know what the other person is thinking, how they're perceiving things. So it is important to express how you feel and be very clear on what your intentions are. So.
Okay. So in the moment when these activities were brought up or discussed, whatever it was, I'm not sure. You expressed to him like, oh, I move at a slower pace. This is something I'm not going to do. And then what happened? Like, I don't know. We're just confused how you guys had a great trip and then now you're not talking.
I just want to clear the air. So the activity was nothing too nefarious. All right. There was on the last night, I asked if I could have a goodnight kiss and I was rebuffed. So that wasn't, we're not talking about.
Damn. So a motherfucker got, wow. Crazy work, bruh. Crazy.
Motherfucker, you fucked up, huh? You fucked up, huh? You know your ass is doomed.
So this guy had to, Jason had to ask Candi if he can get a good night kiss. Anytime you have to ask for anything that has to do with kissing, sex, any kind of physical activity, that is a complete red flag. Okay? These things have to happen natural. You don't ask, you don't plan it. Right? So for the simple fact that this brother had to ask her for a kiss, yeah. Candi was definitely not into you. Candi doesn't even want to be your friend. She's trying to play like you weren't blocked. I don't know. She's playing mind games or whatever the case may be. Candi, you was on the show twice. Okay, I said it before, I couldn't decide. Now I'm deciding, yeah, it's definitely not Jason's fault. Candi is wasting Jason's time. Jason is a very astute Black man that is intentional about dating. A very astute bachelor, and I think y'all need to bring him back on the show and have his own show to have a group of women seeking to be with him. I think y'all need to bring him back on the show. Candi, I don't know what your problem is. I really don't. I don't know, man. You're a very attractive woman, but you're very indecisive also. I think you have some baggage. You mentioned about you were in a long-term relationship and you're affected by your past relationships. I think you have some healing to do when it comes to that. A lot of healing. Whatever I think you're projecting, you're not even saying it, but I think whatever the things you had in your past relationships, you are making it. You're making those things holding you back on trying to be with the man that you should be with. But with him, yeah, you wasted this guy's time, like completely. And the fact that you weren't even affectionate with him, didn't show any signs of affection. Um, yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
You know, something more indiscreet than that.
Okay.
But I yeah, that we had I had indicated that I think she might be too wholesome, and we had a discussion about our sort of spiritual backgrounds and so forth, and I understood where she was coming from, but that wasn't something that was an issue for me, and she assured me that she is somebody that is adventurous in terms of, when I say wholesome, I'm talking about, can you have adventure? Are you somebody that we can have fun with? We can do things that involve risk, stuff like that, because I'm a very adventurous person. And
okay.
She sort of assured me that, she's right there with me. So I was hoping that a friendship could ensue from that, and communication would have definitely been helpful to make sure that we were on the same page with what we were both thinking about, because I don't want anything projected onto me, or my intentions being misunderstood in any way.
Okay.
On January 1st,
let me tell you something.
We're starting
man.
a 4-week.
Let me tell y'all something. Like I said, Candi dropped the ball. She dropped the ball on this man. Wasted his man's time. But let me tell you also, she's not gonna find another Jason. This is the top tier man. This is the top tier high value man. And whoever she ends up with next is not gonna be on the same level as Jason. Not nowhere near. You dropped the ball. You dropped the ball, Candi. Like you're not gonna find a Jason at all. Period. Not even close. You may end up settling with the quote unquote mailman that you don't like. But my point is that you're not gonna find you're not gonna match with a Jason type at all. Because first of all, a Jason type don't grow on trees. These are not common men. You are gonna be attracting more of the common men, like the mail carrier types. But not the astute, well-established lawyer types. Those are rare. All right? You have a rare man in front of you and you drop the ball. So you're not going to get with this rare man again. You're going to go back to the common man, which is nothing wrong with being a common man. But yeah, you're going to be ending up with the common man and not a Jason type. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so this is... Yeah, this is eye-opening in terms of you got a man that's well established, career-wise. He's 38, no kids, has his own everything, intentional, and still can't match with a woman because the woman wasted his time. This guy deserves better. For sure. So bring him back on the show, Jason. I would love to see him back on the show. He deserves his own episode. Yeah, that's it, bro. Let's keep it going.
Well, any final thoughts between the two of you? I know you guys haven't spoken in a while, but any final thoughts?
That's it.
Okay. I'm still confused here, and I know people are gonna be like, "What are these two even talking about?" Because I don't know what you guys are even talking about.
There's more to it. They're not gonna say on air.
Any projects you guys are working on? Anything be on the lookout? You want to discuss, whatever it is.
I mean, no, I have a children's YouTube channel, Candi's Clubhouse. Check it out.
That's so awesome.
I read. I do read alouds for children, so obviously virtual, electronically. So Yeah, I love the babies, so check it out.
Of course we will. Jason, what about you?
I'm just doing my law thing. So if you got an issue, you can, of course, hit me up and happy to take a look at it if you're within my practice area. Also, people were hitting me up after the show. People visited my Instagram and they noticed that I try to do these photorealistic drawings, pencil drawings.
Oh.
And I'm always looking for new inspiration for that. And some people express some interest in that. So if you do have an interest in having me draw something or something like that, I need an original photograph. All right. An original photograph that nobody else has. All right. You can DM that and I can draw inspiration from that. And then we can discuss about composition and things like that if that's something you're interested in. But otherwise, that's just kind of a hobby. But I appreciate you asking, Arlette.
Okay. So now after this catch up, are you guys gonna talk, or it's just that's the end of it? That's the end of Jason and Candi.
I don't know if we have closure, so I'll probably reach out, and if Candy's interested in hearing from me, then it won't be the end of the story. And if she's not, I perfectly understand. And I wish her the best in all her future endeavors. She's a beautiful woman, amazing in many respects, and who she was on camera is exactly who she was in person. So I very much appreciate the time that we spent together. If that is the end of the road, and if not, I look forward to what the future holds.
Candi, you answering his call?
I'll answer his call.
Oh my goodness. I can't. All right,
see why
guys.
I'm confused all the time with this,
I'm confused with you, Jason. I don't know what's going on.
But that's all right. That's my cross to bear.
You're not alone. I'm confused with you. I'm sitting here wondering what's going on. But honestly, I wish you two the best of luck in everything you do. And I do thank you for coming on today as well. And everyone at home, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you all next time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on either, brother. Bring it back on the show. I want to see Jason back on the show. That's it. If you guys made it this far, I appreciate you. That's my reaction. Like, comment, share. Those are my handles. Cash at me if you like what you see. Give me a follow on Instagram. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, family. Signing out.